The vast majority of sports bettors lose money. And it's not just bad luck, it's just math. But what if you could actually flip that script? What if you could use the very same math the bookies use against them to build a real profitable strategy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. Let's get into how value betting really works. So let's just start with the biggest question right out of the gate. Why do so many people lose? I mean, consistently. It's got to be more than just picking the wrong team, right? The real answer is actually baked right into the system, way before any game even kicks off. It's a system that's designed for one purpose, and it has a name.
And that system, well, that's the bookmaker's whole business model. See, they aren't just taking bets. They are designing a market, a system that absolutely guarantees them a profit. This is their hidden edge.
Here it is, their secret weapon. It's called the over round, or you might have heard it called the vig or the juice. Look, in a totally fair world, the odds for all the outcomes in a game would add up to exactly 100%, but that's not how it works. Bookmakers build in their margin so the odds might add up to, say, 105% or even 108%. That extra bit, that's their profit, just sliced right off the top no matter who wins or loses.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. You'd think they would just apply that profit margin evenly across every single bet, right? Makes sense. But nope, that's not what they do. The way they apply this edge is really strategic, and it actually hides a pretty fascinating secret about how we as bettors think. So check this out. These charts come from a study, and they totally expose the bookie's strategy. Just look at the average payoff. As you go from right to left, the chances of winning get smaller. We're talking about the long shots here. And look what happens to the average payout. It gets way worse. This is what's known as the favorite long shot bias. Bookies know we love the thrill of hitting a long shot, right? That dream of a massive payout. So they build a much bigger profit margin into those bets, basically cashing in on our hopes.
So, if the whole system is kind of tilted against us, especially on certain types of bets, how does anyone make money? Well, the answer isn't some crystal ball. It's all about using a really powerful mathematical concept called expected value.
And to do this, you have to make a huge mental shift. The goal of a value bettor isn't just to pick winners. No, it's to find those moments where the bookmaker's odds are just wrong, when they're offering you a better price than the actual true probability says they should be. You stop thinking like a fan and start acting like an investor hunting for little mistakes in the market.
Let's make this super simple with a coin toss. We all know a coin has a 50% chance of landing on heads. In decimal odds, a 50% chance is a true price of 2.00. So if bookmaker B offers you 2.00, that's a fair bet. There's no edge for you, no edge for them. But what if bookmaker A over there offers you 2.10 odds for that exact same 50% chance? That is a value bet. You are being paid more than the risk is actually worth.
And this gets us to the absolute core concept, expected value, or EV for short. It's basically a formula that tells you the average amount of money you'd expect to win or lose if you could place that same bet over and over, like 1,000,000 times. Any bet that has a positive expected value, a plus EV bet, is, by definition, a profitable investment over the long haul. So going back to our coin toss at 2.10 odds, when you do the math, that works out to a positive expected value of 5%. Now, what does that mean? It means for every dollar you bet, you can mathematically expect to get 5 cents back in profit on average over time. I know 5 cents sounds tiny, right? But when you are consistently placing bets that have this positive edge, that 5% starts to compound into real, significant, and predictable profit.
Okay, so the theory makes sense. We need to find bets where the odds are better than the true probability. Simple enough. But that leads to the million-dollar question. In a really complex sports game, how in the world do you figure out the true odds? Well, here's the playbook. It really comes down to 3 steps. First, you take the bookie's odds and you convert them into something called an implied probability. It's just a simple calculation. Second, and this is the tricky part, this is the art and the science of it all, you have to come up with your own estimate of the true probability. And then third, you just compare the two. If your number is bigger than their number, bingo, you found a value bet.
So how do people actually do that tricky second step in the real world? In practice, there are really 2 main ways people go about finding these little golden opportunities.
Okay, so you've got 2 main paths. First is the DIY route. We're talking building your own statistical models, probably using something like Excel to calculate your own probabilities. It's hard, it takes a lot of time, but you have total control. Then there's the other path, the much more common one, using software.
These tools are incredible. They scan hundreds of bookmakers in real time and instantly flag odds that are just out of sync with the rest of the market.
And here's some real talk from someone in the betting community on Reddit. This person absolutely nails it. Speed is everything. These little pricing mistakes, they can vanish in minutes, sometimes even seconds as the bookies adjust. And they make another great point. While paid tools can be super powerful, a free tool is a perfect way for anyone who's new to this to just, test the waters without any risk.
All right, finding a plus EV bet, that's only half the battle. The other half, and honestly, it's probably the harder half, is all in your head. It's psychological. To actually succeed at this, you have to completely shift your mindset away from luck and gambling to one of pure strategy and discipline.
And to do that, you have to get comfortable with a little thing called variance. It's just this statistical term for the natural ups and downs you're going to face. Let me be clear. Even if you have a proven mathematical edge, you will have losing days. You will have losing weeks. You might even have a losing month. It's just part of the game. Your success is never measured on one bet. It's measured over thousands of them. It's the law of large numbers.
And I want you to really let this quote sink in. No model, no system is perfect. Every single true probability you come up with is still just an estimate. And like this quote says, the longer the odds on a bet, the more any tiny little error in your estimate gets blown up. This is exactly why disciplined bankroll management is completely non-negotiable.
I mean, this really shows the two different worlds, doesn't it? Over here, you've got the gambler, just riding an emotional roller coaster, betting with their gut, chasing their losses. And over here, you have the value bettor. They're calm, they're executing a strategy based on data, and they trust the process, even when things are going badly.
So let's boil it all down. What are the key things you absolutely have to remember? 1. The bookie's edge is real, but it's not perfect. It has cracks. 2. Your entire job is to hunt for those cracks, where the odds are just better than reality. 3. Positive expected value, that plus EV, is the mathematical key to unlocking profit over the long run. And 4, none of this means anything without the ironclad discipline to stick with the strategy, good times and bad.
In the end, it all comes down to this one question. Value betting completely changes the game. It challenges you to stop making hopeful guesses based on how you feel and to start acting like a strategic investor, using hard data to find and exploit profitable opportunities. So which one are you going to be?